Hello, friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. All right, I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of an update of what's going on in my life right now. There's a couple things that are kind of brewing right now. First off, when I was doing my video over at Catfish King yesterday, on the way out of the restaurant, I dropped my phone and put a nice little chip into the screen. So I'm going to have to go get that fixed. Now, I went over to the Verizon place today to check into that and see what they could do about it. And turns out I was lucky. I have insurance on the phone. So they gave me a telephone number. I can contact them and they'll just send me a new phone and we'll get this all resolved real quick. I've done this before. I've had problems with my phone before, and their replacement policy is real simple. Basically, you just call them, tell them what the problem is. They'll send you a new phone, you send them the old phone, and it's done. So this will be pretty easy, but I can't really do anything today because it's Labor Day, so I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow on that. Now, I've also told you about this friend I've met here who is the guy who cleaned up my car recently. I want to tell you a little bit about him because that friendship seems to be growing a little bit. I actually met him probably about 3 weeks or so after I moved in. I was just kind of walking in from my car one day, and he was sitting on the steps over by the carport. And as I walked by him, he asked me, "Hey, do you happen to know anything about computers?" And I said, "Yeah, well, I know a little bit." And turns out he's going to school to kind of re-educate himself. He's about 40 years old, and he recently relocated here from Louisiana. I guess he was born and raised in that area. And he's kind of like me. He's starting over again here in Texas. Now, he's going to school and studying for, I'm guessing it looks like some sort of a business degree or something, because he needed to know about computers. And basically, he had an assignment at the time where he had to kind of design on paper 3 different kinds of computers for 3 types of uses. And he really wasn't sure where to go with that. So I started talking to him about it. It's like, okay, well, if you were going to get a computer, what would you do with it? And he says, well, I just have real basic needs. I want to be able to do my homework. I want to be able to write letters. I want to be able to go online and, do email and look at, search the web and maybe look at videos and stuff like that. And I said, okay, well, that's one kind of computer there. So let's start with that. And I kind of gave him an idea of where we would go. And one of the things I said, basically, that's a real simple computer. So basically, we crossed that line about 10 years ago where any computer you buy today can do that. And so we started going through that. And I said, okay, so what other things would you want to do? And he wasn't really sure, about the other 2 types of computers. So I, being someone who's doing, video editing and stuff like that online, I suggested that and gave him some ideas of where he'd want to go with that. And then we talked about maybe like a gaming computer for the 3rd kind of thing. And that kind of gave him some direction to go in terms of doing that. That also kind of got him to know who I was a little bit, and me to know who he is a little bit. And so that made it easier when he contacted me and asked me if he wanted me to, or if I wanted him to clean the paint off of my car, because he knew at that point who I was, and he knew where my car was, and he had seen the damage and had to do the same thing with his own car. And so that kind of got us knowing each other a little bit. Well, just like 10 or 15 minutes ago, he knocked on the door again. He had a little bit more, or a few more questions about computers. Apparently, he's in a computer class now, or in a statistics class, I guess, and needs a little bit of help understanding Excel. It's an online course he's taking, and he's having a little trouble connecting up with the professor, because I guess there's like 200 people in this class, and it makes it a little hard for him to talk to the professor. So he asked me if I could help him a little bit, and I said, yeah, well, I can do that. I know a little bit about Excel. I explained to him, I don't really have any formal training in computers. I'm just kind of self-taught, but I've been self-teaching myself for like 30 years, so I'm pretty knowledgeable about Excel. So I think that that's going to probably come into, be something that we're going to do. A lot of you commented that, you think I'm really good at explaining things and would be a good teacher and stuff like that. And I kind of agree with that. I have, got teaching in my DNA. My mom was a teacher. My sister was a teacher. It's all over the place in my family. And I definitely can do it. And if it's a subject I know, I can teach it. So I think that'll work out well. That was also one of the things I did at Disney, and it was probably the most rewarding part about working at Disney was when they allowed me to be a trainer. And basically, I kind of knew it was over at Disney when they stopped letting me be a trainer. So, this gives me a little opportunity to, just kind of, get into doing a little bit of teaching again, helping somebody else out with their, kind of get their life on track. And, I just kind of wanted to share that with you. Oh yeah, one other thing I forgot to tell you. I wanted to talk about three things, and I only mentioned two of them. I got a letter in the mail the other day from a collections agency. Apparently, when I came to when I went from California to Texas, I called my insurance company and let them know that I had moved and needed to get new auto insurance for Texas. Well, apparently the old insurance company couldn't do business in Texas, so they directed me to one of their affiliates. They have a partner company that they work with, Farmers Insurance here in Texas. And I made the transition from them to Farmers, and apparently they didn't do the transfer correctly and continued to try and charge me up until the end of July, when in reality I canceled the policy in California and started a new policy in Texas in about the middle of May. It was actually one of the first things I did in Texas when I got here, because I wanted to just make sure that was all straightened out. Don't want to have any confusion with auto insurance, because something goes wrong and you're in limbo between insurance companies. It's really bad. So I've got to produce some information for them that proves that I did my transfer from my California policy to my Texas policy, and apparently I had to go into my insurance agent to do that. And since it's Labor Day today, I can't really do that today, but I'm going to try to go over there tomorrow and get that straightened out. So that is, I think, all I have for today. I know a lot of you guys say that you enjoy just hearing me talk about what's going on in my world, so that's what this one's all about today. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.